Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to this online Google Classroom. Today, inshallah, we will discuss the topic magnetism, electromagnetism, and electromagnetic induction, and the application of these. All these we will discuss in these lectures. Magnetism is the very important form, very important section of your O-level syllabus. Uh, this section covers the MCQs and short question and long question of your CIS paper. This lecture is for grade O2 physics. It is lecture number 1 of O levels. I welcome you in this lecture. I'm Sir Adnan Khan, physics teacher, Bahria Town International Academy. Let's discuss the contents of this lecture number 1. First of all, we will discuss the history of magnetism. Magnet, how this world, the people of this world know about magnet, which country uses first, and secondly, we will discuss how people know about magnet. Then we will define what is magnet and how it is different from different material, how it is different from metals, non-metals, and why magnet possesses such an astonishing property of attracting some of the object towards itself. Now, then we will discuss the poles of magnets, north pole and south poles, the laws of magnetic poles, and we will discuss the like poles and how the behavior of like poles are, and how the behavior of what is the behavior of unlike poles of magnet. Then we will discuss the types of magnet. There are so many types. We can make magnet from different metals. We can make temporary magnet, we can make permanent magnet. So we will discuss different types of magnet. Then we will discuss magnetic field. Just like electric field is the region around a charge where it can apply force on another charge, similarly we will discuss magnetic field as a field around a magnet where it can apply force on another magnet. Magnetic field, and we will discuss the properties of magnetic field, the orientation of magnetic field, and secondly we will discuss the strength of magnetic field is purely based on the magnet placed inside, and all these terms related to magnetic field. Now, just like we classify different material on the basis of electrical nature, we will discuss the classification of material on the basis of magnetic behavior. Some objects are quickly magnetized and some objects do not affected by the magnetic field, and some material are very fast, and they are very responsive towards the magnetic field. So we will discuss the classification of different material on the basis of their behavior towards the magnetic field. Now next we will discuss the most important part of this lecture is magnetic theory. We will discuss the concept of magnetization and demagnetization in the next lecture, but in this lecture we will discuss the internal structure of a magnet, how it is different from the other material, the magnetic theory, the magnetic domains, and we will discuss how to align these magnetic domains, and how to you can say how we can perform different processes on these magnet, and how can we change the internal structure of a magnet, can we align these internal charges of magnet. So we will cover all this section in magnetic theory diagrammatically, and we will give some explanation. Now the next part is learning objective and outcomes of this lecture. Inshallah, after this lecture, students will be able to know the history of magnet. They will be able to define it. They will understand the concept of magnetic field, types of magnets, and they will understand the theory of magnet, classification of material on the basis of magnetic property. So we will try that students they must get something out of it at the end of this lecture. So coming to the next slide, let's discuss the first part. Chinese are the first civilization, the first country which used the magnet according to different historians. Chinese as early as 121 AD knew that an iron rod which has been brought near one of these natural magnets would acquire and retain magnetic property, and that such a rod when suspended from a string would align itself in the north-south direction. Use of magnet Use of magnets to aid the navigation can be traced back at least the 11th centuries, and Chinese were the first people to use magnet for their navigation purposes. And navy, they have to travel. They were the journey and voyages in different oceans and different seas. So Chinese were the first to use magnet for finding the direction in deep oceans. They were able to know the north, south, east, west direction using the navigation process. Secondly, there's another point in this paragraph that if you see the third and fourth line, they say that if you such a rod when it is suspended from a string, if you suspend a magnet from a string, it would align itself in the north south direction. This is the natural phenomena. You can perform this experiment in your home. Just suspend a magnet, tie it at the center and suspend it from a string, and wait for an instant that the magnet should comes to the rest position. You will see that the one pole of magnet will be north seeking and the other will be south seeking pole. So this is why we say that magnet has two pole, north pole and south pole. So it is bipolar. Magnet is always bipolar. Now the next, let's discuss what is magnet. If a material is magnetic, it has the ability to exert forces on magnets or other magnetic material. In CIO levels, there is a test for magnet, and repulsion is the sure test for magnet. Attraction is not the test for magnet. Repulsion, for example, if you want to know a material is magnet or not, brought it near to a magnet, if it is attracted, it is not the surety that it is magnet, because it can be a magnet, it can be a magnetic material, but magnet only repels magnet. There is not a single material which is repelled by a magnet, only magnet repelled magnet. So repulsion is a sure test. If there is a magnet, it is not a north south is not label on it, just brought it near to a magnet. If it is attracted, it can be magnet, it cannot be magnet. But if it is repelled, it is surety that the unknown object is magnet. So repulsion is the surety test for magnet. Now, for example, you see bar magnet, horseshoe magnet, and magnetic material just like iron, hair, cobalt, etc. Those material which are attracted by a magnet are known as magnetic material, and there are some material which are non-magnetic. They are not attracted or repelled by magnet. Now, poles of magnets is north and south pole. Like poles repel, north north repel each other, south south repel each other, and unlike poles attract each other. North and south will attract each other, and this is also known as laws of magnetic poles. What would happen if you break a magnet in half you will get two monopoles. Will you get two monopoles? Though the answer is no. If you break a magnet into two pieces, it does not mean that it will remain a single pole. If you break the north pole, so you will see automatically the other pole will become south. If you break the south pole, the other will become north. So if you break it many times, magnet will always will be remain, it will always have two poles, not a single pole. So it means monopole magnet does not exist. A magnet having single pole, it does not exist. Now let's discuss the types of magnets. Generally, the basic two types are temporary magnet and permanent magnet. Temporary magnet, or somehow sometimes it's also called electromagnet. When a charged particles move through space, they induce a magnetic field, electromagnet. For example, if you see a cell, take an iron nail. This is example of which is experiment performed to lower classes. The kids, they know about the property of magnet, how to induce electromagnet. Just wrap a wire around a iron nail, connect it to the battery, and you will find this nail will attract smaller pieces of magnetic material. So this is the example of electromagnet. It will remain magnet when it will remain as long as magnet when it is connected to the cell. But if you remove the connection, the current is stop moving, it will demagnetize, it will not remain magnet for longer time. So it is short time magnet, it is temporary magnet, and its magnetic property, it purely depend on the current passing through this wire. This is why we say electromagnets are temporary magnet. Now let's discuss the permanent magnet. Electrons has the intrinsic magnetic property. This word is used, intrinsic, it is new for the student. Intrinsic is mean the pure magnetic field. Electron has this property. In simple words, if we say any moving charge possesses magnetic field. So electron is the smallest charge which can exist. So it has the magnetic field due to its spinning motion in different orbits around the nucleus of an atom. So electron has magnetic field that may add together in certain matter to create a magnetic field. Bar magnet is the example of magnetic field. We will discuss this in detail in theory of magnetism, that electron and different charges in any matter, all these charges have magnetic field, and if all these magnetic field reinforces each other, if they reinforces each other and do not cancel the effect of magnetic effect of each other, so they give rise to a net magnetic field, because of which any material becomes magnet. So it has the intrinsic property, it has the pure its own property, it is not induced property. It has its own property due to internal charges which reinforces each other. This is why an object is a permanent magnet. It retains its magnetic property for longer time. So it is a permanent magnet. And now let's discuss magnetic field. Magnetic field is the region around a magnet where it can exert force on another magnet or magnetic material. If you see, the number of magnetic field lines in a certain area indicate the relative strength of magnetic field in that area. Magnetic field lines are imaginary lines, but they represent real field. The field exists, but these lines which we draw for our own convenience, these lines are imaginary lines. These lines originate from north and enters into south. These magnetic field lines represent the magnetic field If the number of greater the magnetic field lines, greater will be the strength of magnetic field. So it indicates the relative strength of magnetic field in that area. The arrows of the magnetic field lines indicate the direction of force. The 2 points must be clear. One is the strength. If there are number of magnetic field lines are greater, it represents the strong magnetic field. Secondly, the arrows which we draw around a magnet using magnetic compass, it indicate the direction of magnetic field. The closer the lines are together, the stronger the field. The magnetic field line always point away from the magnetic north pole and towards its south pole. If you see from the north pole, magnetic field lines are coming out and entering into the south pole externally, but internally the magnetic field lines, it is from south to north. Just to complete the loop, from outward it is starting from north, entering the south, and inside the magnet it is traveling from south to north. So this is the magnetic field. Again, the magnetic field depend on the how strong it will be. It purely depend on the source of field, which is magnet itself. If we place a stronger magnet in a region, it will give rise to a stronger magnetic field. And similarly, if we place a magnet which is not powerful, so it will give rise to a weak magnetic field. Now let's discuss the classification of materials. Some material are magnetic, means a material which is strongly attracted to iron, nickel or cobalt. It also repel or attract another magnet. A magnetic material or a magnet is a material which strongly attract iron, nickel or cobalt or any magnetic material. Or secondly, a magnet can repel or attract another magnet. So a material can be magnet. Number second, ferromagnetic material. Ferromagnetic material are those material which can easily be magnetized, which are easily affected, influenced by the magnetic field. They have a strong relation with magnetic field. It is attracted to a magnet, becomes magnetic temporarily, is only a magnet as long as the presence of magnet. It becomes demagnetized if it is tapped. So ferromagnetic material by definition are those material which can easily be magnetized and demagnetized. So the second category is ferromagnetic. The first category was if the object itself is a magnetic. The second is ferromagnetic, which is strong relation with magnetic field. It can be easily be magnetized and demagnetized. These are known as ferromagnetic material. The third category is non-magnetic material. They are not attracted by a magnet at all. The presence of magnetic field does not affect these material or performance of these material. So magnetic field does not affect these material. These material are known as non-magnetic material. There are so many uses of non-magnetic material and ferromagnetic material as well. So classification is, the first one was magnet if a material is magnet itself. The second is if there is a strong relation with magnet, which is ferromagnetic material. And the third one is if material is non-magnetic material. Now the next is induced magnetization. Induced magnetism and induced magnetization, it is the process in which we brought permanent magnet to a non-magnetic material, unmagnetized material, and we make this material magnetic. So this is known as induced magnetism. Induced magnetism, this is the process in which an object, a magnetic material, is placed in the magnetic field of a permanent magnet. The charges are aligned and the object, we temporarily induce poles. If you see in the figure, if you see the first figure, there is a magnetic material, unmagnetized iron piece, iron cuboid piece is placed. These small arrows show the charges in iron. These charges are not aligned with each other. They all have different direction. They have a different magnetic field. These magnetic field cancel the effect of each other, so there is no net magnetic field in any direction. The second place was when we place the same iron material closer to the permanent magnet, the magnetic field line interact with the internal charges of magnet. So because of the influence of these magnetic field lines, you see there is some alignment compared to the first figure. These charges are somehow aligned in the direction from north to south, from south to north. If you see these magnetic field lines inside the iron, which is now placed in magnetic field, you see these magnetic field lines, these charges are aligned internally, pointing towards north from south. So it is pointing from south to north. So there is some alignment of charges inside this iron piece, which is now placed in magnetic field. Before it was placed in magnetic field, there was no alignment. They contain charges, they all have different directions. Their magnetic field of each charge's orientation was different, so there was no net effect. There is no poles shown in the first case, but when it is placed in magnetic field, you see there is some alignment, which is shown by the color portion, and this alignment is from south to north, and now this material behaves like a magnet. So it is induced magnetism. This phenomena is known as induced magnetism, because magnetism is induced because of the presence of magnetic field, external magnetic field induced magnetism. Similarly, students already have studied induced electricity, induced electrification, or electrification by induction in electrostatic chapter. Similarly, we can induce, just like we can induce electric field in any object, we can induce magnetism as well. So this phenomena is known as induced magnetism. Making of magnetic material, that is steel and iron, into induced magnetism. And an ordinary piece of magnetic material, induced magnetism is a temporary process. This process is a temporary. We can induce magnetism for short interval of time. So this is known as induced magnetization, just like it was induced electrification. Now, the most important part of lecture is magnetic theory. If you see the figures, there are two figures. The one figure, it is a iron piece shown before magnetization, domains before magnetization and after magnetization are shown. The upper portion is before magnetization, then is the lower is after magnetization. The difference between these two is the orientation of charges. These white arrows show the charges present inside the different portion of the material. These are the charges, these are the tiny magnets. You can say these are the charges, which are tiny magnets inside this material. You see, the material inside is divided into different portions where it contains an arrow. Each portion of material is known as domain. So these domains, every charge is different. Every charge is different orientation. By the influence of external magnetic field, all these magnetic domains are now aligned to each other. They all have the same direction. Now their magnetic field reinforces each other, and they have the net magnetic field and net magnetic effect. Now, only magnet and ferromagnetic substances are affected by magnetic field. In these materials, small groups of atoms band together in an area called domain. These areas are known as domain. In a non-magnetic ferromagnetic substances, these domains are in the random order. When these substances are placed in magnetic field, their domain will align in the same direction as the field and become magnetized. So this phenomena is known as induced magnetization you studied in the last lecture. Now, at the end of this lecture, this is a small assignment. Students are required to write the answer of the following question. The first question, you have to define the magnetic and non-magnetic material. The next portion, you have to differentiate between ferromagnetic and non-magnetic material. What is the difference between ferromagnetic and non-magnetic material? What is the difference between their internal structure and how their domains behave? The next is you have to define the magnetic field. What is magnetic field and strength of magnetic field lines you have to discuss. And the last question, you have to differentiate between temporary and permanent magnet. And secondly, you must know about the magnetic theory, how a magnet can be induced into magnet, and how induced magnetization can be achieved, and how ferromagnetic material behave in the magnetic field, how non-magnetic material behave in a magnetic field. We discuss in this lecture that ferromagnetic material, they have the property that their domains aligned in the presence of magnetic field. But non-magnetic material, when they are placed in magnetic field, their domain, their charges, their tiny magnet does not respond to the external magnet. It does not respond to the external magnetic field. So this is why they are said to be non-magnetic material. They can't be magnetized. The induced magnetism is not valid in their cases. So you have to answer these questions. And if you have any question, any queries regarding this lecture, you are most welcome. You can ask question. You can ask question from your teacher directly or indirectly. You can call me. You can text me through text, WhatsApp, any tools you can use to educate yourself. If you have any doubt, any point is not clear in this lecture, you can type your question during lecture, after the lecture, anytime. You are most welcome to ask question. Teachers are available 24 hours, so most welcome, and try to understand. You can search out more. This is somehow the basics of magnetism. You can search on the history. There are very interesting stories related to the history of magnetism. So you are most welcome. You ask question and teacher will always answer you. Secondly, you should also perform your homework. Thank you again. Inshallah, in the next lecture, we will discuss the methods of magnetization and demagnetization, which always remain the part of CIE exams. MCQs are there, and there are theory question related to magnetization and demagnetization. So in the next lecture, inshallah, we will try to cover the methods of magnetization and demagnetization. That's all for today, and if you have any question, please ask. And Jazakallah and Allah.